Hello, I am the Reverend Karen Mercer, and I am so delighted to serve at the Church of the Holy Nativity in Baltimore, Maryland, which is the parish of the late Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray. And if you don't know who Dr. Pauli Murray is or was, please spend some time researching who she was, because she was a dynamic woman. I want to welcome you to Seek and Find, a journey to navigating life. This podcast is an extension of the Imani Project, which is dedicated to uniting young adults aged 18 to 34. Our aim is to share what we think is some valuable information and some fun tidbits that can aid you on your journey through this thing we call life. We hope you'll find our podcast engaging and just keep coming back for more. So throughout our series of podcasts, we're going to interview various guests ranging from young adults to those a little bit older. And we're going to cover diverse topics we hope will captivate you. We definitely encourage your feedback, whether it's through email, and we'll talk to you more about how to drop us an email and let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to hear more of, what you'd like to explore more fully. We are definitely here to provide information and that we think would be of value to you. And the way we learn about that is if you tell us what you like.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Imani Project. We are here with Zena Bird, who is a representative of Sutton Scholars in Baltimore, Maryland, and she is here to kind of explain what Sutton Scholars is, how it works, who it provides support and benefits to, and all of that good stuff, and kind of learn more about the organization, how to get involved with it, and just see what Sutton Scholars is all about. So, Zena, welcome.
Thank you.
If you would, please go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody to know a little bit more about you and then Sutton Scholars.
Yeah, so my name is Zena Bird. I am the program coordinator of Sutton Scholars. I've been a scholar. I started with the program in 2016 when I was 14 years old, before entering high school at Baltimore City College, and I graduated the program in 2019 before entering my senior year at Baltimore City College. I worked as an administrative aide for 2 years and became program coordinator in 2022. So yeah, that's kind of how I started with the program, and yeah.
Awesome. So, what was your experience like when you first joined Sutton Scholars? Like, how did that change your life, or what was the impact that it had on you?
Oh my goodness, it was such an amazing experience. I think from the beginning, from 2016, I made lifelong friends, and just had amazing experiences that I didn't quite understand when I was 14, and now
Hmm.
appreciate now that I'm 22. Um, and I just made like it was a family. It's a great support system to have. It was just it was something to look forward to every single summer, and just trying to get back to the program. And we can't even imagine. Now we're 6 weeks. When I was in the program, we were just a month. We were just 4 weeks, and we used to beg for more weeks. And so now I think we used to beg for 5. We finally got 5, and now we're at 6. So I think they're lucky. Now we would have now we're jealous that the alum that they have like all these weeks. But yeah, it was just an amazing. It's so hard to put into words unless you've experienced the program, um,
Hmm.
and you like grow up in it, and you like make friends, and you create this support system. It's kind of hard to explain the feeling, because it's definitely a feeling of like community and camaraderie. Am I saying that right?
Camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely it's a family feeling, and like you just know you have support wherever you go. And it's nice seeing like alumni that I was in the program with do these amazing great things, and know that we're connected through Sutton Scholars. So that's just always amazing. So yeah, so that's just like it's hard to explain it, but it's definitely a feeling. Yeah.
Good. So, who is Sutton Scholars for?
Sutton Scholars is for, we market for those kids that aren't necessarily A students and they aren't necessarily failing students. They aren't necessarily behavioral problem students, but they aren't the ones that are getting all the awards and scholarships. We want those students that are kind of in between. And
Hmm.
that's where we push toward because we feel like they're getting kind of left behind. They're not really getting noticed.
Right. Like
Um,
they can fall through the cracks.
they fall through the cracks. And I think we have amazing students that have received scholarships and get straight A's and are recognized for that. And we have students that struggle in school. We have them, but we like to focus on those people that are in the middle because they, like you said, fall through the cracks and they aren't
Hmm.
noticed. And they don't often get the opportunities like the ones that are getting the straight A's or the failing students get because they just are kind of there. Um, so that's what we really want. And I think when we go, we have a great relationship with guidance counselors for middle schools because we recruit for middle schools. Um,
Okay.
and they're able to give us those students that are kind of just like, well, we don't hear anything about them. We don't really like, they do great or they're not doing so good, but they could use this. And we want to give them a voice. So that's kind of where we kind of recruit from. And that's what it's really for. Yeah.
Okay. So what areas do you guys focus on, like your recruiting areas? So is
Yeah.
it just like specific Baltimore schools, or is it all Baltimore County schools or Baltimore City schools?
So it is all Baltimore City schools. We do have a relationship with certain schools that have come to us just repeatedly over the years. I went to Leaf Walk Elementary and Middle, so we have a great relationship with Leaf Walk. Woodhome, Crossroads, those are kind of the main schools we recruit from, but we take all Baltimore City students. We do make exceptions for Baltimore County students because sometimes they find out about our program and we are not at the place where we turn kids away. Like we haven't like made it there like yet. And even trying, I think this year our goal was 65. We were like, this is the number. We're gonna stick to 65. Now we have 72. And because we can't say no, we try to say no, but it's hard for me when we don't want to tell a child no, especially when they've done all the
Right.
criteria to be in the program. So we try to stick to the city, but the county some always pops up, and it just happens. But primarily, yeah,
Okay. So what if we were a school,
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to partner with Sutton Scholars, what would we need to do? Like, would we need to have an in-house kind of like funneling system set up, or would it need to be like an application basis? How would it work if I'm a school um, in Baltimore City?
yeah. So it's all students have to go through an application process. But if you're a school, the best way to go is through me and Reverend Brown. Reverend Brown has been a part of the program since 2016 and has really started the
Okay.
program along with Bishop Eugene Sutton and others. But Reverend Brown is kind of the face of that, of getting students here in the application process. So as a school, it would take the guidance counselor to kind of build a relationship with us. It
Okay.
also makes it easier for like if we sometimes kids aren't parents aren't really present, so it's nice to have the guidance counselor in those application processes when we need like we require an application, an essay, and we also require 3 recommendation letters. So it's nice to have the guidance counselor there as a buffer.
Hmm.
Say the parent isn't present or just doesn't really know much about the program. So the guidance counselor is where we go toward. But as a school, that's really what it is. It's just we do recruit through open houses and back to school nights. So that's primarily where we go in September and October, just trying to tell more students about the program, what
Hmm.
we are, just trying to recruit for the summertime. And it's hard for parents to remember us during September, like through the year. And
Right.
people don't start thinking about summer until like March. So that's when our job comes in to keep the parents updated with emails. The application is up, which usually always goes up in January, the first week. Um,
Okay.
and they have until new scholars have until March 31st to kind of do the whole process and the application. But that's how we kind of, if a school wanted to get involved with us, it would definitely be through me and Reverend Brown, and then to go help the student go through the application process because we only look at kids who have completed the entire application process.
Okay. So I want to kind of talk, you kind of mentioned parent involvement,
Mhm.
or sometimes the lack thereof.
Yeah.
So if a student hears about this from a friend who went to and joined Sutton Scholars, and their parents might not be the go-to person, how could a student actually kind of find you guys,
Yeah.
talk to you a little bit more about the program, and then maybe do a sit down conversation or a virtual conversation like this with
Yeah.
their parents to say, hey, this is something I want to do.
Yeah. So we welcome all of any of that talking to us because we are so small. We still have the opportunity to kind of reach that way.
Hmm.
So that's always great about us. That's the great thing about us being so small is that we have the opportunity and the time to kind of talk to parents one-on-one and students. That's also where the guidance counselor comes in as well, because we don't know the situation with the parent until we get it from the guidance counselor, and that's where we kind of can shape
Hmm.
how we're going to go about the application process. Most of the times, in situations where students have come to us, we've made exceptions or worked with the student one on one and kind of tried to finish the application of the essay, or worked with the guidance counselor and the student to kind of get the application in and figure out how we're going to get the essay and the recommendation letters. So that's kind of
Hmm.
how we do it. And we haven't had anyone want to meet with us. We have in the past one on one just to explain the program, what this is about. Especially our older kids, we've had a parent kind of introduce someone else. So, oh, I'm sorry, a teacher. I'm mid. It's happening today. Excuse me. But so yes, we kind of just like it's really important that relationship with the guidance counselor, and being very candid with the
Okay.
guidance counselor of like, just tell me the roundabout situation, and then we kind of go from there.
So, so for the students, their experience, it starts literally back to school. And then, in January, they can put in their applications and things like that. Once it comes to the summer, what can they expect? When do they get a notification saying that they've been accepted? Or, once they are accepted, um, what can they expect after that?
Yeah. So for me, the chill part is the recruiting part. That's the fun chill part because that part is planning. It's 8 months of planning, so it's just trying to get that out of the way. And then
Hmm.
March 31st is always the cutoff. We take the application down from our website, which is www.suttonscholars.org. We take
Okay.
it down, and then we look at all the applications, and then they get accepted. Um, so we have a month to just go through everything, read essays, read recommendation letters, put people on the waiting list that go on the waiting list, and we just try to pull from as much as we can and get our number um, in April. And then
Mm.
we do in May, they've already been accepted. So they've gotten like a welcome email if they're new, a welcome back email if they're returning. And then we do meetings. So that's when we start parent meetings, orientation. That's the critical part is that parent orientation meeting that we do every year. This year was the first time I did it. So I was completely nervous, but I it is under my belt now. I'm going to keep doing it every year. But that's
Good.
the most crucial meeting because we give out everything because we don't want parents to have to come multiple times. We want to give them
Hmm.
everything that they need in this one meeting, which is every form that they're going to need. We give it to them in this meeting in a folder with the handbook and the calendar. So you know when everything's due, when field trips are, when money's due. So that meeting is huge because everyone in the program, it is a required meeting for them to come. And then after May, they have about maybe 3 weeks, and then we start the program the last week of June every year. So whatever the last
Okay.
June is, that Monday is when we start, or Tuesday. This year was a Tuesday, but every year is that last week of June all the way until the first week of August.
Oh, wow. So they get a full summer program.
Yeah, I know. I would have liked
Nice.
6 weeks, but
So I want to kind of go back to one of the items that you put there. Um, funding. So how is the program, like, is there specific funding for the program? Do the students have to pay to participate in the program? How does that work?
You know, it's crazy. I love saying this part because Sutton Scholars is completely free. And our students,
Wow, that's awesome.
our students make a stipend for coming to us. So they make a summer allowance for
Oh,
participating
wow.
in a completely free program. So we offer lunch and a breakfast snack for free for them. And sometimes we might ask for $20 for a trip to offset the cost of a bus or offset the cost for lunch. This year we're doing the Smithsonian, which is on the 12th, so this Friday. And
Hmm.
we're doing Dave and Buster's later in the summer. So they've been asked to contribute $20 for each trip. But other than that, it is completely free to them. And again, they make a summer allowance for coming to us and participating. So that's the kicker. Every time anyone asks, that's like, what? Wow, that's really what it is.
Right.
Funding for us. We are completely nonprofit, so it is all donations and donors giving to us, and it costs about $300,000 to do Sutton Scholars just for 6 weeks with stipends and allowances, with staff paychecks, with buses,
Hmm.
with field trips, just renting our space every summer is an expense. So it's expensive to put on 6 weeks and for it to be completely free. But we feel like the people who need this, what we offer, it needs to be free. Like for them to really, for us
Hmm.
to reach the people we need to reach, it needs to be free. Um, and it's expensive, but it's an experience, and I love that our donors understand what an experience it is and keep funding the program. It's not easy to come up with $300,000, $400,000 every year, but we do
Hmm.
have loyal donors that just believe in what we're doing. So that's how much it costs. Every time I have to explain that to someone, it's like it's crazy that it's free, but it is.
But that's awesome. Like this, so the kids walk away with accomplishment, not just in, knowing that they've kind of grown and achieved some friendships and things like that, but they also walk away with, I'm taking it because they receive a stipend, some
Yeah.
type of work experience or things like that. So
So
how does that work?
it's technically this year's the first year we introduced like a club system. We had it when I was in the program, my senior year in the program, and I think after COVID, we kind of let a lot of things go because we were at a time when I was a senior, we were about 120
Mhm.
kids. And then after COVID, we went all the way down. It was really small, and we did a virtual year. And then we came back with 30. So from 100 to 30 is like it went down a lot. And so now we've kind of come back
Right.
to 72. And yeah, they don't really have work experience. They come here and we give them tools, like we do interviews, they do resume writing, but in terms of labor, they do none of that. None of that. It's really just
Okay.
a learning experience every day. And I tell them all the time, it's really what you put in is what you get out of it. So
Hmm.
but we do require a lot because they're getting a stipend for learning. So we don't require you to work, but we require you to participate. We require you to pay attention. We require you to do the necessary steps to get your stipend because we have a waiting list, and there's people that once you hear about this program, it's an amazing program that any child or any parent would want their child to be a part of. So it's competitive in that sense where it's like
Hmm.
we don't require much for you to get a stipend. We just require participation. And that's all you have to do to make a summer allowance, which is a pretty steep, I mean, at their age, like, not do anything really in terms of like work. It's a lot. So, um, that's kind of really what they do all day is really just learn and get that kind of experience. But in terms of labor, no, not at all.
Okay. Wow. So it's basically like this summer. It's almost like a summer camp that you get paid to go to and learn.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's so fun to explain it to people because it's like, really? Like, yeah, that's it. They can't do anything more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, I want to ask, from an insider's perspective,
Mhm.
um, what's one of the things that you find most valuable about Sutton Scholars? Like from your experience when you were actually part of the program as, one of the students, and now that you're one of the program directors, like what do you find most valuable for the students about the program?
I think as a scholar, the most valuable part was the relationships. Just leaving here with an unspoken bond with people that like you shared the same experience with. Um,
Hmm.
and it's an experience that, again, at the time we didn't realize was like a setup for our life, kind of. And then once I left Sutton Scholars, before I started working, you kind of realize everything that I did at Sutton Scholar was like a step to like something. And now I understand why they were so pushy about things, or why they wanted me to know this certain thing, or why this was important for them, like credit. At 14, I wasn't worried about credit. I didn't think that was, I had no, if, at 14 and 15, you're just
Hmm.
like, yeah, I have to hear about this again. But now at 22, it's like those lessons were important. And then hearing some of my peers that didn't get those lessons at home, or didn't know about credit, or um, high yield savings accounts, or your IRA, or just like small things about how to control my emotions or coping skills and mechanisms. Those things that I was 14, I appreciate now. Um,
Hmm.
and I think as a professional now looking into it, the value of it for me is seeing them come from 14 and then leave me at 18 a completely different person. Like it's amazing watching them come back every year and be a whole different person. Like, and they don't see it, of course, but it's
Right.
not even just like, oh, you got taller, or just like how they think, how they view situations are just so much different. And this year will be my first class that I put through Sutton Scholars. So I started working at 18 and now 22, when they started at 14 and now they're 18.
Mhm.
First class I'm putting through. I'm trying, every time I look at them, I try not to like tear up. I kind of have to walk away because it's just so, it's amazing to me to see like them start at 14 and be so small, and like, and now they're 18, about to go to college and have jobs and lives, and that's the value in it as a professional.
Oh.
They'll never get it unless they work and see the growth. And then as you pour into Sutton Scholars and make a curriculum, and you see how that affects them as well. And it's just, it's a insane feeling to be young and realize that, and then have
Hmm.
a connection with students that aren't that much younger than you, but you can
Yeah.
see like their growth. I think that's like the best part as a professional, just kind of seeing that part.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Like to understand what a student is going through when they're younger, and then to help them understand that this isn't all that life has to offer. There's more out there. You just got
Yeah.
to find it. Like
Yeah.
it's an amazing feeling. Like it's definitely something to be like, "Oh my gosh, I saw you when you were this high and now you're like grown and you're about to go into the world."
It's literally amazing. I'm scared for when they watch this, because then they're gonna see that I'm actually soft. So not like, I tear up all the time about them, because it's just, it's amazing to like see that and see 4 years of growth.
Hmm.
And I only get 6 weeks with them, like every day. I see them and I talk to them over the year, but 6 weeks every day to just learn. That's why it's so special too, is because I have 6 weeks to learn who they are. And I know most of them like the back of their hand. Like I know what they're gonna say before they say it. I know what they're gonna do before they do it. Half the times it's scary. So it's just like, that's what makes it, because you're learning about these people in 6 weeks. And that's it. And that's all you
Hmm.
really need. Um, and it's just, it's amazing. They will never, no one will ever understand unless you like, or they will never understand this feeling until they work here and they see it, or like, or until they like are a part of the program and see it. um
Hmm.
it's an insane like whirlwind feeling to watch it come full circle for them. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how if a student wanted to come back and once they graduate the program and work in Sutton Scholars,
Yeah.
what would they need to do? What requirements would they need to meet?
So for me, I watch a lot of them. So like I know who's a little bit more mature and can handle it because they work with me. So that's my team because we
Hmm.
have instructors and we have a team of aides. And the aides are always all returning scholars. This year we have one that is not a returning scholar, but she's been a part of the program for 2 years at this point, and they've asked for her to join. But before her, they have always been alumni. Um, and still the rest of the team are alumni. So really it's me watching them and just seeing like who could handle it, who's already showing like a leadership role now, a mentor
Hmm.
role now, and then how can that transfer over to being staff? Because it's hard to draw the line from being your peer and then becoming staff. Um, and we do a good job in supporting. They're a little uncomfortable at first, but then once we support them kind of through it and know that they know that we have their back, like if they make a decision,
Hmm.
I have your back with that. Like it's okay to make those decisions and it's okay to be a leader and a mentor. It's okay to put your foot down with some things. So it's really all about watching them before they graduate here. And then I make the decision to invite them in. So it's really just me. They don't go through a process, but they still have to go through an interview. They
Hmm.
to we have started this new thing with like spring lobby, which is every year in March. So it's with, oh my goodness, FDCL. I think I might be making that up. I might have made that up, but it's with Friends Committee in DC, and it's an advocacy group, and every year there's like a different topic, and we go to DC and take about 8 scholars. So it also gives me a chance to invite the scholar I'm thinking about hiring to go to this
Hmm.
and can see how, because that's a high stress situation. You have 8 scholars away from their parents for days, and you have to keep them all safe. They have
Hmm.
to have fun. They have to. So it's nice to see how they interact with that, and then so that's kind of my real test to kind of see if they can handle it, and then we go from there. But yeah, it's really just me watching and seeing who can handle that kind of responsibility.
Okay. Okay. So returning scholars, do they also follow the same application process? Like, do they have to put their applications in and then make sure that they have a spot, or are they just, at the end of the program, are you returning next year? How does that work?
So they do have we have a new scholar application and returning scholar application. And so
Okay.
returning scholar application is due a month before the new scholar application because they don't have to repeat the essay and 3 recommendation letter part. Um, with that, we act, it's the same application in terms of address, just regular information to see if anything
Hmm.
changed, shirt sizes, all that kind of stuff. And that's their kind of ticket back in. We know that they're returning with this application. Um, so yeah, that's how they come back in. But if it's anything where we don't want to invite them back in or they're not returning if they told us before, then we just don't send out to them the returning, hey, like welcome back. It's time to kind of
Hmm.
so yeah, they do have their own separate application. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think this is going to be my next to the last question. Um, so if an organization wanted to donate to Sutton Scholars, um, it could be a corporation or what have you. How would they go about being able to donate as just as a support to the mission of Sutton Scholars? Because this is a massive undertaking that you guys have in the summer for 6 weeks to a community that definitely needs these types of supports.
Yeah.
How would they go about being able to donate?
So we have on our website a place you can donate. And if there's like larger quantities and like dowries and things like that, then we have someone that handles that as well. So you can kind of set up a meeting with us and we can kind of take care of it that way. But if it's like a monthly donation, we have all of that set up on our website.
Perfect. And what's the web address?
www.suttonscholars.org.
Awesome. Okay, so last question is, if you had a magic wand, or if you had like a little bell that you could ring or ding or what have you, what would be one thing that you would bring to Sutton Scholars? Um, no questions asked, no issues, money's not a problem, time's not a problem. What would you bring?
Oh my goodness. I have two. One would be
Okay.
taking trips outside of state or country. If money was no object, they'd have international experiences with me. Goal of mine. We're working on it because I had those experiences when I was younger and they made a big impact on me. So that's something we're working toward in terms of like out of state um, experiences where they can stay. It's definitely just in talks right now, but my goal is to have something like that soon. Um,
Hmm.
and if I had a magic wand, there'd be a Sutton Scholars in it everywhere. I would put it everywhere. If there was a Sutton Scholars New York, if there was a Sutton Scholars Arizona, I would put it everywhere. If there was no object or like money wasn't an issue, that's really what I would do. I hope that's a goal. I hope that's a thing one day. I really do, because I think this program should be everywhere, and we have dioceses all over the country. So that's one. If I had a magic wand, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I like that because I mean, I'm just thinking about all of the areas, just even in Maryland, that could benefit from a Sutton Scholars.
yeah.
I think about Prince George's County and how, there's a lot of students down there who feel like they're kind of caught in a bubble. And if they're not exposed to something else like Sutton Scholars, that, it's going to be hard for them to kind of claw their way out or move out and feel comfortable and, assured in what they know and how they present themselves and things like that. So I can absolutely see Sutton Scholars just fanning out all across the world.
It
And
was
I mean,
when I
getting the message out.
yeah, when I
Yeah,
became an
yeah.
alumni, we had like a small like alumni association, which we tried for like a year, and it like disassembled after like maybe two meetings.
Oh,
It was okay. It's okay. But I think the first thing I said in that meeting, and I'll never forget, is that I wish it was international. Like I hope that this goes national, international, and that's a goal of mine. It is. If it's not national, just like a few Sutton Scholars somewhere, I think will be really fun. So, and to like, you then have that community national,
right.
not like just a Maryland or Baltimore thing. But I think
Mm-hmm.
first we got to conquer here, which we are, and um, and we have a building, and that's fun, and just trying to figure that out because then we can reach way more students, um,
Hmm.
in our own space, and then just conquering here and hopefully making this a strong foundation, and then kind of taking it elsewhere. That's the hope and goal for me, is doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, well, kind of in a wrap up, if you could give like an elevator pitch, like
Mhm.
that you give at the schools and things like that, what would it be?
It's like if I gave one to kids who wanted to join, or if I
Yep.
gave okay.
Hmm.
Um, this is what I do every year. I start with the overall, just like we're an amazing program, 6 weeks. We do leadership, communication, self awareness, emotional intelligence, financial literacy. You do all this in 6 weeks. You have amazing trips. We go to a Claggett Retreat Center, which we stay for 3 nights and 4 days, where you have the chance to canoe and kayak and hike and bike ride and swim and do outdoor gym activities, indoor gym activities. We have movie night and karaoke night, and we bond. And that's only 1 week of the program. And you also make a stipend for coming here and a summer allowance. I always end with that and try to hook parents first and then hook the kids. Um,
Hmm.
and you make a stipend for just coming to participate, and it's completely free, and we offer lunch, and we offer breakfast. We have a lot of great bullet points And I'm just hoping, and then sharing my experience is always the sum up, and saying that I've been in the program is always great for parents to hear. So that's kind of my pitch a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, scholars, parents, if
Yeah.
you are in the Baltimore City area in any of the schools, reach out to your guidance counselor if they've not already established a relationship with Zena and Sutton Scholars.
Yes.
Tell them they need to do so because you want to go to the program.
Yes. Yes. Please.
Hello.
Amazing. If reach every single school, that'd be great. But if you want to be a part of the program, please just get in contact with us. If your guidance counselor isn't getting it fast enough, we are located in the Episcopal Diocese of Maryland. So find us. We could be located anywhere. We really are everywhere. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Zena, again for coming on today and talking and telling us and sharing the wonderful world of Sutton Scholars. Imani Project folks, we welcome you back to kind of understand and hear a little bit more. Some of the things that we have in the works with Sutton Scholars. We will be producing a few more episodes with Sutton Scholars and the scholars themselves. So I'm excited about that. You'll actually get to hear from the students in the program and see exactly what they like about the program, how they handle themselves, and just think of things that they're thinking about and they're experiencing on a day-to-day in their day-to-day lives. So join us again. We will be back soon. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time, this is the Imani Project kind of signing off. See ya.
See you.